So, in my ace dad advice world, I get a ton of questions all the time. And there are some questions that come up over and over and over again. So, I thought it would be fun to make a series of videos called FAQs, Frequent Asexual Questions, and address those questions that I get more often than other questions. And I thought I would start with a set of questions that are all about attraction, because I get questions all the time about sexual attraction, romantic attraction, what does it feel like, how do I tell them apart, tons of attraction questions. And so that's what we're going to deal with in this very first FAQ. We're going to deal with frequent asexual questions about attraction. What are the different kinds of attraction? So this, of course, is a great place to start. Let's talk about the different kinds of attraction. The two biggies that people are most interested in and are generally most confused about are sexual attraction and romantic attraction. So sexual attraction is an attraction that you feel to a person or a kind of person that makes you want to have sex with them, want you to engage with them in a sexual way. Romantic attraction is similar, except it's just in a different world. So it's an attraction to a person or a kind of person that makes you want to engage in romantic situations with them, or engage with them romantically, pursue them in a romantic way. Now, in both of those definitions, and in a lot of the definitions about attraction, we talk about attraction being about a person or a kind of person. And that talks about the directionality of that desire that you're feeling. It talks about attraction being toward a kind of person. Maybe that's of one particular gender, of your gender, of a gender that is not yours. Maybe your attraction does not pay attention to gender at all. Whatever direction that feeling is going in is generally what we're talking about when we're talking about attraction. So beyond those big two, we have some other kinds, of course. There's sensual attraction, which is an attraction that makes you want to just engage physically with someone. So maybe that means holding someone's hand or cuddling on the couch or just being physically close to them. But that physical closeness that you desire does not include sexual closeness. That would be sensual attraction. Emotional attraction would be the kind of attraction to a person or a kind of person that you're drawn to the way they think. You're drawn to how they are mentally. You're drawn to their spirit. You want to develop a kind of emotional closeness with them that isn't necessarily bound up in a relationship. So it's not exactly romantic. It's not necessarily leaning into something sexual. You just want to engage with that person on an emotional level and create an emotional bond with them. We've got aesthetic attraction, which is being attracted to the way a person looks, the way they carry themselves, their style. You just like the way they look. It does not necessitate some other kind of engagement you want to have with them. Aesthetic attraction is just like how they look. And we've got alterous attraction, which is a kind of emotional attraction that is not really platonic, but not quite romantic either. It's someplace in between. It's neither one or the other, so it exists in its own space and has its own name. Now, these aren't the only kinds of attraction. There are others, but the ones that I talked about here are the kinds that you'll hear about the most. And it's important to remember that all of these attractions can work independently of each other. They don't all have to line up. So your experience of sexual attraction can be different from your experience of romantic attraction, can be different from your aesthetic attraction experience or your emotional attraction experience. They can all work independently. They are not all bound up in each other, and they're not obligated to all work the same way. How do I know what kind of attraction I'm experiencing? So this is a challenging question, and ironically, it's one I get more than any other. People are very confused about how to define what attraction they are feeling or how to adequately identify it. There's so much confusion, like, is this sexual attraction or is this romantic attraction? How do I know the difference between this attraction and this attraction? Or how does this specific attraction feel so that I can know I'm feeling this and not some other? we have the definitions of these attractions, which are very helpful in making some distinctions between them. But in reality, it's very hard to describe specifically and irrevocably what each attraction feels like. I mean, I think even allosexual people would have a hard time if you said, hey, I need you to describe precisely what sexual attraction feels like. I mean, I don't think they would get far beyond the definition that we have, which is an attraction towards someone that makes you want to have sex with them. Like, beyond that, how do you even describe it? And I think for like something like sexual attraction, for an asexual person to try to answer what does sexual attraction feel like, well, I don't know. I'm asexual. I've never felt that. So I would just be like guessing and shooting into the dark and hoping that I land on some kind of right answer. So instead of answering this question directly, how do I know what kind of attraction I'm feeling? I'm going to offer a little bit of absolution. I am going to absolve you of your need to know the difference. And I'm going to give you the gift of just trusting what it is you feel. Human emotions and attraction are incredibly mysterious, and they're incredibly complicated, and ultimately I think each person experiences this weird thing called attraction in whatever form it takes in their own unique way. So you have to just learn to kind of trust what you are telling yourself. If in your life you go through your experiences and some repeated things happen and it feels like okay, this is maybe sensual attraction, but I don't really feel like it's sexual attraction, then just trust yourself. Trust yourself that you know what you are feeling, and trust yourself enough to be confident in that assertion and that decision about what it is you're experiencing. So I identify as asexual. I identify as someone who does not experience sexual attraction. But in many ways, I'm sort of taking that on faith because I don't have a mark to measure against what sexual attraction actually feels like. So, I mean, I certainly have experiences of being attracted in ways toward people, but I am just based on sort of my experience and based on how I hear other people talk about their experience and how I sort of perceive the world around me. I'm assuming that I am not experiencing sexual attraction. And it's a thing that I'm owning. I'm trusting myself that what I am telling myself when I am examining what I'm feeling is true. And I think you should feel the same kind of confidence and authority to do the same for the way you feel. Remember, you can change your mind. Identity is not fixed. Identity is a journey. It's a process. It's a constantly evolving thing. So if what you feel today, you change your mind and feel something different down the road, that's totally fine. You can just change the language that you use. But in the moment, right now, today, trust what it is you're feeling. And don't think about it too hard. Decide what kind of attractions you were feeling and which ones you were not, and just run with that. I don't feel attraction, but I do want to do stuff. Help! This one really gets people caught up. There are people who know they don't experience sexual attraction, for example, but still are wanting to pursue sexual relationships with their partners or just want to have sex. And they feel like those two things are in opposition to each other, that they negate the other one, or that the wanting to have sex negates the asexuality or the lack of sexual attraction. It's important to remember that regardless of the attraction we're talking about, attraction is different from behavior in every case. And they can operate independently, they can work independently, and the pursuit of the behavior does not negate the feeling of attraction. So it's perfectly valid for an asexual person to not experience sexual attraction, but still want to have sex. Lots of reasons why that may be so. Maybe that's just they have a high libido and they want to work that out. Maybe they want to please their partner. Maybe they want to express a different kind of attraction to their partner through sex. Maybe they want to use sex as a means to procreate and build a family. Whatever reason one wants to have sex, it doesn't negate your relationship to attraction. This is also true for romantic attraction. You can be a romantic and not experience romantic attraction, but still pursue romantic relationships for many of the reasons that we talked about earlier. Don't let that perceived conflict mess you up. There isn't a conflict there. Attraction is different from behavior. Um, think about them separately. Focus on your relationship to attraction in whatever arena that is, and focus separately on your relationship to the behavior that's associated to it. They work independently, they don't impact the experience of the other. So remember, attraction is complicated. Being a human is complicated, and relating to other people in any kind of way is mysterious, mystifying, sometimes absurd, and just generally not something that's easy to wrap your head around. So, if you get a little caught up sometimes in the complications around attraction, it's fine. We all do. We all feel the same way. Just remember, you know your experience better than anyone else, better than any other person in your life, any YouTube video you can find, any tweet, any book, any movie. You know yourself the best. So trust what you feel and know about your own experience, and feel confident enough to share that feeling with other people. See you next time.